Company. Ethan Rome is on the line with us. He's the Executive Director of Healthcare for America Now. And if you put .org at the end of it, that's the website, healthcareforamericanow.org. And Ethan, welcome to the program.
Thanks so much for having me.
I understand here in Washington, D.C. over the weekend, y'all had an interesting time with the Koch Brothers. You want to tell us about it?
We did. We had a terrific event Friday night. We had a movie fest, an outdoor demonstration where we showed films that exposed the corrupting and corrosive influence of the Koch brothers' money in politics, the corporate takeover of the U.S., and the attacks on the middle class, coordinated by people like the Koch brothers.
Mm-hmm. Was any of this the stuff that Robert Greenwald has put together over at Brave New Films?
Yeah, it included some of his work and lots of other work.
Yeah.
And the main thing is to focus people's attention on the corrupting role of that money and the fact that people like the Koch brothers and the organizations that they fund have a systematic agenda to destroy the American dream and to make themselves richer at our expense.
Now, ironically, they were in town this weekend for a gig that they called Reclaim the Dream, I think. I mean, what is or Defend the Dream. Reclaim the Dream is Van Jones's organization. So it seems like they, very quickly glommed onto that and co-opted it. That phrase of the dream. I wrote a book called Rebooting the American Dream. It's not like it's anybody's property, I suppose. But they were having this gig and y'all showed up, right?
Yes, I mean that's why we were there to protest. They had an event sponsored by Americans for Prosperity, cynically called Defend the American Dream. Profoundly cynical, because their idea of the American dream is that the rich get richer and the rest of us get poorer and the middle class goes away.
Yeah, well, that is certainly apparently their American dream. Now, Adele Stan wrote about this over on Alternet. She was actually inside. She got press credentials to get inside. And she said that, the protester had basically blocked the door, locking people into the building. She herself had a problem getting out. When she did, people surrounded her thinking she was a cokehead and shouting at her and whatnot. And she felt quite intimidated, felt that, I don't want to put words in Adele's mouth, but her report is right there on Alternet. You can read it. I think I'm accurately characterizing it. But that she felt that this was kind of pushing these things, that this wasn't what you would traditionally define as a peaceful demonstration. What happened?
Overall, it was absolutely a peaceful demonstration. We had about 1,400 people out. People watched movies, marched around the building. There were some folks after the formal event who did, in fact, block the entrance. But this was a terrific, peaceful protest. It's a way of engaging people and having a little bit more fun than the typical demonstration that's all yelling and screaming.
No, I'm with you on all that. But blocking the entrance to a building is, that's the use of force. And was that part of your plan? Is that part of your organization that was using force?
No, that wasn't part of our. It wasn't part of our event. And folks were entitled to do their own thing after the event. Our goal was to peacefully and simply hold an event that exposed the people in that.
How do we keep these events peaceful if there are going to be some people who are going to? Blocking a building, blocking the doors to a building is. A, it's using force. B, it could be dangerous. I mean, people have been trampled and people panic. And what if there had been a fire or somebody set off a fire alarm or something? God only knows. How do we keep these things peaceful? We've even seen, apparently a guy who was involved with the police in Oakland who was dressed up like a protester and involved in some of the problematic behavior a week ago Tuesday, that was then, leaving with the police like he was one of them. Whether it's people who are stepping over the line and no longer being nonviolent and not using force, but starting to use force, can you speak to that?
I mean, I think, first off, this was a peaceful protest. And people can peacefully block an entrance to a building. They can peacefully shut down
How?
An intersection. It happens all the time. There are close to 15, I believe, exits to that building.
Right.
And so I think, but I think the main thing is when you've got a group that size, our job is to have a disciplined and orderly event.
Right.
And that's largely what we saw, and a focus on the issues and not focus on the tactics or some outliers, because that's what's important. What's important is the corrupting influence of the Koch brothers' money and the way in which they're trying to buy our democracy.
No, I'm totally with you, and it needs to be a focus. And I'm telling you, the blocking of the doors of a building is going to become the right wing focus. And I wanted to find out your take on that and find out what the if you were disavowing that or if you were supportive of that. It sounds like you're supportive of it.
Well, I mean, again, it was not part of our action. I just don't want to suggest for a minute that blocking an entrance is by definition a so-called violent act. People peacefully block entrances all the time, and that goes all the way back, obviously, to the civil rights and why and how it is that we won voting in civil rights law, which was that people did things that were unlawful, including sitting on the back of a bus.
Yeah.
So, I think it's important to keep that in perspective. But in this instance,
Ethan,
you're listening to